Hello there and welcome to The Dive, and I hope you had a good Christmas. This is the new year, so we're going to be bringing you lots more independent music and interviews. This week is no exception. Now, back in the early 90s, the Sneaker Pimps established themselves as a bit of a household name. After losing their female frontwoman, which may be no bad thing, and gaining something of a new attitude, the Sneaker Pimps are back with their new album, Bloodsport. We went up to the ICA in London to do a bit of an underground, warts and all coverage of their first UK gig. They gave us a bit of an interview and performed some live tracks. This is the first part of that ordeal.
Maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me.
We're joined now, just before they go on stage at the ICA, by David and Liam. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Thanks for doing this. I know that you're rushed for time, first off.
We are a little bit, it's okay.
So, let's start quickly. How long have you guys been going, just so people know?
As Sneaker Pimps, we've been going since about 95.
I'd say so.
Yeah. But Liam and Chris have been making sort of music together from about 90 onwards, something like that.
Yeah.
Sort of making dancey
Since
stuff.
we were teenagers.
Yeah, because you started off on a far more technical tip, minus the live instruments and the hassle that brings.
That's right. We started off sensibly and then went down the circus route.
Right. What made you firstly want to? Because back then it was even today it's ambitious, but back then it was really ambitious to want to mix live stuff with all the computers. Why did you want to do that?
It's the kind of feeling that something's going to go wrong on stage. I think that's the best thing.
It's the tightrope walk.
Yeah.
We love
Right, so you're doing it
every
primarily
time,
for the risk factor.
Yeah, it's seat of the pants.
If you spend too much time in a studio, life becomes kind of hermetically sealed and just a dreadful bore. So it's good to go out and sort of let the music go out to people and see their faces and perform and show off and kind of try and...
It's quite a feat to be able to pull off. I mean, watching your sound check here today, we can see what sort of problems can happen as well. I mean, I'm quite surprised though that the driving force is that it might all go wrong. So
well, we have more than ever. We've got visuals now as well, which we're debuting tonight.
Yep. This is the first time.
That could possibly go wrong quite. We've only done it once.
Right. I mean, I should say that you guys have actually been involved in film soundtracks.
Yeah.
Already you did Spawn and Life Less Ordinary.
Yeah.
Is that something? Do you feel an affinity because you picked some great films?
I think we're three of us from art school, and that's always a bad thing.
I see. Okay.
But
I know.
I think the music's always been
Instant turn off.
the music's always been quite cinematic. Certainly, I think the genre that we came from in the kind of '97 was lent towards the cinematic, and it's just a natural place to go. I think music, and emotions, and film all just stick together in one.
They're all
happy
entertainment as well. So
yeah.
I'm not sure I agree with that. So this has been a logical step then, because starting off, and now you just want to take all technologies, all medias, throw them together and assault the crowd.
I think we're just going to be just very greedy. I think it's as much media as possible.
Right. So now this is my other point. Talking greed, you started off, did one album, everybody owned it, literally, and you know, I've got to be careful because I'm talking to you now, but it was quite a safe album. Probably not for you at the time.
Maybe not at the time,
but it became a household name.
That's I suppose in retrospect it's become a bit coffee table, I guess.
I wasn't going to say that.
I know, but you were skirting around it. Which is a shame because those things happen, which is why we've had to sort of take measures.
Right, drastic, decisive.
It's exactly why we've had to take measures, because as soon as something becomes sort of musically a bit spent, or a bit ubiquitous, and it just becomes sort of meaningless, and we were sort of becoming at the time was for us a really, really, really strong and original sounding, and I mean even dare I say sort of avant-garde sounding at the time.
Yeah.
But then it kind of you just ended up in a kind of loop where it's Six Underground and it sounds a bit like more Chiba and
it's not your fault that happened.
But I think we've taken the responsibility to go right. We have to distance ourselves from that as soon as we can culturally and change everything.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of an extreme move.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you're quite brave because you're battling against your past success in a way, and like, I mean, it's only a coffee table or a cliche because it's good, because you know anything that many people buy.
Yeah, the face is always on the coffee table.
Was that a nice thought? The underside of coffee cups heading away all the time.
I think it was played in one too many boutiques, but that's that's the way it is. If it's something successful, it's always becomes the victim of its own success at some point.
That's it. I mean, you turn into a cliche because of its popularity.
Well, I think that was the problem really, is that it's okay to do that, but then to be kind of persuaded to repeat that is the real problem. So that's where we kind of went, well, we can't do that. There's no way.
So was it a conscious decision?
Right off, like,
we
almost, we're habitual kind of changes. We want to, as soon as we've completed something, we'll then go on. However successful it was, we'll go on to change it, and that's in our nature. It's almost the success itself causes us to change. It's a limiting process.
You didn't fancy doing an Oasis? That worked. Bosh.
No,
do that
that just seems the death of music in our book. I mean, and if this is a huge success, we're going to come back with country and western.
Yeah, right. Bluegrass music.
Yeah, that's what we pledge.
Morris dancing reinvented.
So go buy records, and we will definitely do country and western.
Well, the one thing I was going to ask is, when I first heard it, I was going to interview you guys. I was going to say, how are you going to deal with that? The backlash of that success. But then, after poking my nose around a little bit, you got your own studio. You seem to pick kind of innocent young women and offer to remix their music. An accident, I don't think so.
They're not that innocent.
No, all women though,
they
mostly.
might pretend to.
Placebos.
Borderline.
Exactly. And you've done film soundtracks, you've done advertising soundtracks as well. Did you guys ever sit down and go, right, well, we can't just release an album and it be that big again, or you can't guarantee that, so we're going to infiltrate and take over?
Not so much infiltrate and take over as support ourselves, to be sort of brutally honest
on a
about
practical.
it. There was a kind of, well, we all have to actually live, and how can we do that?
Yeah.
So I suppose we
I think a lot of music people think we're going to be huge, and all they want to do is professionally be inside that idea of being in a band. But for us, a band is one part of what we do. We're people who have creative.
It's kind of small part when you take, you've got your own record label as well.
It is. It's kind of, it always takes priority when an album's coming out. But other times, there's 4 people in the band, and someone wants to writing a book or making a film, or it's quite a creative collective.
So it wasn't a conscious decision. Because I wondered whether it was maybe we can't achieve that level of success with an album alone. So we're going to.
I think it's more that we didn't want it. We've never wanted that level of fame. I think the most interesting work is always done by outsiders, and we always maintain the outside, I think, in our work.
Very much, yeah.
And even though we don't aim to be small, I think we aim to be as big as it can be. But at the same time, I think we have a perspective of, from an underground that's work is essential when it's in a critical, the audience is a critical mass. And if it gets over that, it just becomes a circus.
I think the way we see it is by doing that stuff, we can allow Sneaker Pimps to be exactly what we want it to be.
Yeah, you must
rather
be
than Sneaker Pimps becoming this kind of thing where we go, oh, quick, let's knock out another 6 Underground. That'll make us a bit of money. It's like if we. Did I just spit on you then?
No.
Okay.
I would have brought that on air or not,
just for me.
Or saved it and framed it.
Right. But it's that kind of thing, and it is a bit mucky to sort of look at the things that we do specifically to survive in a way. But that's the thing we do in order to make Sneaker Pimps the kind of purer side of it for us artistically.
Back up a little bit on the click.
With electric shocks, learn to let myself loose and be the dummy in your snapshots.
Little less click.
I'll play your games, learn to get on with your backward phones. Stick my body in the sun and help to get rid of the white tan. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. And maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. And maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Play your games, mark the names with the blackest spots. If you're building me up to be the target for your cheap shots, I'll play your games, learn to get on with the blind chance. Strip my body of its skin and try to cancel out the white trash. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Play your games if aim is for the quick fix. 'Cause I know what you wanted and I know how you got it. I'll play your games if you play out in the fast lane. Learn to jump into the road and hope to save a little lost face. Maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. Or maybe then you wouldn't get so sick of me. I've got the fuel in my head from the flash I need to break sweat. I've got the fuel and I might get offensive. I might be some threat. I want back doors, want blood on sheets again. Give me back doors, give me blood on sheets again.
Be a little more kick, tiny bit.
Feel like the phone cuts in deep. I want to see deep. Like a grows on a bed without sand. I need myself spent for shape's sake by only other name. When the seeds take, it grows like weeds and spreads like flames. I've got the fuel, but the fuel got me, burning me up when it fires again, fires again. I got the fuel, but the fuel got me, bringing me up when it grows again, grows again, grows again, grows again.
A few random questions here now. What do you prefer, the audience adoration or being locked in the little grey box?
Audience adoration today.
Grey
Good.
box.
Grey box every day.
But you loaded the question. But
I
I
didn't.
prefer the studio.
I mean, I ask every band this because and it's been, I always thought it would be audience adoration, but a lot of people get kicks out of hanging out with each other because, you know, especially you guys, you've been around each other for quite a bit. And so I'm genuinely curious. Another random question. If Sneaker Pimps were a colour, what colour would they be?
I can tell you what it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be purple.
It would never be purple.
And that's all we can say.
Okay, that's enough. To rule out something
Yeah.
is
It's a limit. Everything we do is a limiting process.
Yeah, it's not choice, it's
okay,
it's
why,
negation.
Why did The Guardian call you f***ing liars?
Well, that's an interesting point, actually. The thing with Sneaker Pimps, I think, is that we've always been tagged with this thing that we've been some kind of corporate sellout band from the very
It comes
start.
too easy.
And I can never really work it out. And I'm not going to sort of go, oh, poor us.
No,
But
don't.
I don't really think we ever were as such. People have always mistrusted us. And we're at the ICA here in London, and we used to run a club night here. And The Guardian got it into their heads that we just made the whole thing up.
Right.
But it was one of the best reviews we had. We kind of liked that.
Oh, it was,
If they
because
wanna
that's
call us
the only
total fucking
snippet
liars,
that I saw, and I just wondered where it
Yeah.
came from.
I think they thought we'd made it up to the point of actually the club didn't exist, and it
All the
was
ICA.
Right.
it was just a massive.
I'm going to ask about that now. You guys, you put on a club here at the ICA, and you invite people to bring their own mixtapes, which
Yeah.
I thought was a brilliant idea, because any club you go to sticks to one genre for one night. I mean, why did you guys sort of decide to kick a club off? Because it's not easy either.
It was we were in sneaker downtime as well. It's one of the times where for
Sneaker down.
yeah, for 8
That
months
could catch
we,
on.
Yeah, exactly. We
not what we call
you know,
it, like.
the record wasn't out.
Yes,
we
you
were
do.
between things with sneakers, and we just wanted to have some kind of public outlet to to what we did. It wasn't
Right.
making music as such, but it was choosing and collecting
Being
musical
around.
things. And I think for that reason, doing something quite eclectic and doing music about people and people's choices rather than about a band and a singular choice, I think was quite interesting. People and the celebrity angle to it, getting people are fascinated to
Yeah,
know what
Madonna brought in
It's
her
all sorts of
mixtape.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was Roy Hattersley and Jennifer Aniston, people who you would never know
Right.
what they were playing at home, but come to the club and you would.
Okay, quick couple of last questions. What are you hoping to come out of Bloodsport, which is out early next year? What would you hope would happen? It's odd, because normally people say to sell
Well,
millions.
the thing is, although we do obviously want to sell a lot of records. I suppose that would be being dishonest if we suggested that, we hope no one buys it.
I
We
think,
hope
I think the
it
problem is
remains
if
a
you don't
success.
sell that many records, it's an insult. It's I think the main reason for selling records is it's a confidence thing, and you realise that it's worthwhile.
Yeah,
So I think definitely we want it to be worthwhile, and unfortunately that does
imply a
necessitate,
degree of money thrown in your
a degree of selling
It
records.
would be nice to have some money,
Yeah.
actually. That would be
Okay,
quite cool.
last off, do you get laid more now you're in a band?
No, much less.
I'm married, so
Less, it's another no.
that doesn't happen.
It's the Sneaker Pimps limiting machine again.
Lads, thanks very much for chatting to us today. I'm
at all,
disappointed
thank you.
we didn't end on a higher note there, but
That's
well,
okay.
thanks very much.
We've become monks. In the
Good luck
interim.
this evening.
Turn the cameras
Cheers,
off. We'll
thanks
tell
very
you all.
Cheers, guys.
Cameras off? Right,
I was
what
expecting
actually
a yes.
answers for everyone, endless excuses, not habit for anyone, 'cause I'm trying to break your click-track heart. See a vision of perfect grace, airbrushed and lifeless, all content and aftertaste. It's like I'm waiting for the scars to heal. You so red young sails, fashioning your self-escape. You so red young sails, trading on your super wave. Old style before contact, using me as bait. Solar red young silks,
A little bit of him. And maybe a few overheads, or just a tiny bit.
soft focus for full appeal, pictured as flawless, no context for self-esteem, 'cause I'd be pushed to give you love on that. As far as the eye can see, too much perfection, your substance for wannabes, keeps you beating to a click-track heart. You so red young sails, fashioning your self-escape. You so red young sails, trading on your super wave. Old style before contact, using me as bait. You sold a red young silks, swapping your love for hate.
And I can hear it now. Maybe do.
You sold a red young sails, fashioning your self-escape. You sold a red young sails, trading on your super wave. Old style before contact, using me as bait. You sold a red young silks, swapping your love for hate. You sold